Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. I know you all like a good geographically challenged scammer, so Celia would like to introduce you to Prince Mathias. Thanks for accepting my friend request, he said. I'm really delighted meeting you here. Good morning, said Celia. I'm just checking my messages quickly. I've been staying with my mother for a few days. I'm driving home today, which will probably take most of the day. I don't recognise your name. Do I know you? Not really, he said. We're friends on Facebook. But as time goes on, we're going to get to know each for a better understanding. And my goodness, are you going to get a better understanding of him fairly soon? Where are you from? He asked. I live in Durham, said Celia. It's in the northeast of England. Where do you live? I'm from New Jersey, USA, he said, but currently I travel to Paris, France, for work. I'm an engineer by profession, and I work in an oil exploration and production company. Before we go any further, here's a map showing the location of Paris. What are you doing in Paris? Asked Celia. Working in oil rig, in brackets, deep sea, offshores. I thought you said you were in Paris, said Celia. I stay 2 to 3 days in a hotel in Paris before boarding a helicopter to the oil rig, he said. Deep sea, offshores. Where is your rig? Asked Celia. Reims, he said, and I had to ask Dr. Watson how you pronounce that. And in case you're in doubt, here's another map showing the location of Reims. I thought you said you were offshore, said Celia. Yeah, the oil platform, stroke offshore where I work, is located in Reims. Did Reims get flooded? Asked Celia. I only travelled down here to work, he said. I don't live here, so I wouldn't know that much about Reims. This is my movement schedule, from USA to Paris, to hotel, to work, oil rig platform. If Reims is now deep sea offshore, said Celia, it must have had a catastrophic flood. From oil rig to hotel to Paris airport to USA, he continued. OK, said Celia. Let's try again, shall we? Baby steps to make it easy for you. 1. Is your oil rig in Reims? It's my first time here, he said. I guess you're asking me too many questions. Is your oil rig in Reims? She said. It's one question, a simple one. To which our man replied, yes. Excellent. Well done, said Celia, going into school teacher mode. 2. Do you know what offshore means? Another very simple question. Shouldn't be too taxing on your brain. So he sent her a photograph of a man on a rig surrounded by sea. I guess this picture answers all your questions, he said. You're doing so well, said Celia. So, would you say you were at sea when that was taken? Yeah, he said. Brilliant, said Celia. You're doing so well. Do you know where Reims is? I guess that I'm not looking for a job in your office, he said, so this interview is not necessary at all. Reims, he said, is in France. Secondly, Total Energies contracted the company I work for, OK? Well done again, said Celia. So, would you say Reims is on land or offshore? The oil rig, he continued, is in Reims, deep sea, offshore. Reims has both land rig, onshore, and sea, offshore. Do you know where Reims is? Said Celia. On land or offshore? Do you even know what Reims is? Make your research and stop asking me, because I'm not from Reims, he said. I know where it is, said Celia, and it's you that claims to be in Reims, not me. I only came here to work and go back, he said. So, we'll assume that there's been a flood of biblical proportions, shall we? Said Celia. A flood deep enough that Reims has floated out to sea, to the deepest, darkest, briniest ocean. If you were watching a few videos back, you know what I'm talking about. If you look out of your window, you could probably tell whether you're on land, in a city, or offshore, surrounded by sea. Even if you did just go to work there, assume you have windows. Where I work is surrounded by sea, he said. "Oh my goodness," said Celia, "you're getting so good at this. So, you are at sea, on an ocean, on a briny ocean. Which ocean are you on?" "Enough of this, your boring questions," he said. "Not boring," said Celia. "I'm interested to know about you. Which ocean are you on? Pacific? Indian? Black Sea?" "I believe that your next question," he said, "would be like, how many women have I slept with? And that's silly." "Nice try at changing the subject, mate. It won't work. It never does." "Are you a nutcase?" said Celia. "What on earth does that have to do with which ocean your oil rig is on? I assume you know where you are. Or are you in prison and pretending to be on an oil rig because you're bored?" "You've asked too many questions," he said, "and you don't even give me a space to ask mine. That's being selfish." "No," said Celia. "A very, very, very simple question. Which ocean are you on? That's about the 6th time I've asked, so I'll make you ask me each question at least 6 times before I answer it, adding one more time for each time you refuse to tell me which ocean you're on. If it isn't Pacific, Indian or Black Sea, try Arabian Sea, Red Sea, Gulf of Mexico, Tasman Sea." Some of these videos are just so hard. You have no idea how many times I've tried to record this next bit. Our geographically challenged brain cell went for a lie down. Suitably refreshed, it came back the next day and said, "Hello, how are you doing?" "I'm fine, thanks," said Celia. "You still haven't told me which of the many oceans / seas your oil rig is on." "Pacific Ocean," said the struggling brain cell. "Which country are you near?" asked Celia. You can try and guess which country he's near. Well, I'll show you a map of the Pacific Ocean. As far as I can tell, Europe, and therefore Paris and Reims, aren't actually on that map. And now you've had a chance to think about it, this is the country that our man claims to be near. "Netherlands," he said. "Ah, OK," said Celia. "It's so awesome how countries just float around the world, isn't it?" To which our man sent a thumbs up. And for completeness, here's a map showing the location of the Netherlands. Nothing much happened for a couple of days, and then, as all scammers do, he asked Celia what she was doing, so she asked him what he was doing. "Yeah," he said, "I'm doing a stock take." "Sounds a bit boring," said Celia, "but it has to be done, I guess." "Yeah," he said. "Is managing the stock your full-time job?" she asked. "Not at all," he said. "It can be done by any engineer on duty, so it's a general job for everyone in my department." "OK," she said. "I thought maybe you were in charge of the stores. I don't think you've told me what you do." "Not really," he said. "I'm in production department in uppercase letters, and then in brackets, oil and gas." "What do you do in the production department in uppercase letters?" asked Celia, and in brackets, and why the uppercase letters? "I'm a petrochemical engineer," he said. "OK," said Celia. "I don't really know what that means." "We explore and produce oil and gas." "What are you doing now?" she asked. "Exploring or producing?" "Producing," he said. He asked what she did, and she told him that she was an administrator in the admissions department at the university in Durham. And then he said, "So, tell me, are you married with kids?" "My husband died 3 years ago," said Celia. "My son lives in Sydney in Australia with his girlfriend." "Sorry to hear about the death of your husband. Please kindly accept my condolences," he said. "That's very kind of you," said Celia. "You're an amazing person," he said. "I'm really delighted meeting you here." And then Celia thought she'd try and catch him out. "Which country is your oil rig close to today?" she asked. Remember, he's on an oil rig in Reims, off the coast of the Netherlands, in the Pacific Ocean. "The Netherlands," he said. Well, at least he remembered that bit. "OK," said Celia. "You haven't moved again? That's good." Completely missing the irony of what she'd said, a man replied, "Yeah, I need to finish up with the task here before moving." "OK," said Celia. "How long will that take?" "I've gotten a mail already," he said. "Request for my service in another oil rig / location awaits me. I think I would finish up my task by the weekend. From there, I'm off to another location." "That sounds exciting," said Celia. Where's the other rig? I haven't been to that location before, he said, lying through his teeth. It's in Port Harcourt, in uppercase letters, and the name of the rig is Yusan. Where's Port Harcourt, in uppercase letters? Asked Celia. I guess it's in Africa, he said. What do you mean you guess it's in Africa? Asked Celia. Don't you know where it is? I haven't been there before, he said. According to the mail I received, it says Africa / Nigeria / Port Harcourt, all in uppercase letters. OK, said Celia. Should be interesting if you get shore leave. Hopefully it'll be warm there. To which our man replied, yeah. Before we go any further, as far as I can tell, Yusan isn't the name of a rig. It's the name of an oil field. If any of my Nigerian viewers could confirm or deny that, please leave a comment down below. Going back to full-on scammer mode, our man asked, So, tell me, how did you feel all these years without a man in your life? Exactly the sort of question you ask a lady you've just met online. What does that mean? Asked Celia. I'm sorry if that upsets you, he said. I meant if you don't feel lonely after the death of your husband. Of course I do, said Celia. He was a lovely, kind man. That's good to hear, he said. But I think it's to move on. Let's forget about the past and look into the future. Would you like her to smack you round the face now or later, mate? Let's make it now, shall we? I have no intention of forgetting my husband, said Celia. Please think about what you're saying. I'm really sorry, but you can as well get married to another and life goes on. What do you think? I might think about it if the right man comes along, said Celia. That's a welcome development, he said, sounding like a company annual report. The next evening, back to scammer mode. Have you had dinner? Ages ago, said Celia. Have you? Yes, I did, he said. This was about 9:30 at night in the UK. Which time zone are you in? She asked. You know, the Netherlands, the Pacific. Oh, never mind. CET, he said. Where are you now? She asked. I'm guessing you aren't in the Pacific Ocean anymore. CET is Central European time. I'm still at work here, he said. I haven't changed location. The next evening, they got into discussing his next contract. OK, said Celia. Will you go home before your next contract, or will you have to go straight there? I'm going straight from here, he said. How long will it take? She asked. Is it a long journey? The Netherlands and the Pacific Ocean were apparently completely forgotten. From Reims to Paris, both in France, is 1 hour 35 minutes. From Paris to Port Harcourt is about 6 hours 35 minutes. From Port Harcourt to the platform / oil rig is about 2 hours. That's roughly 11 hours journey, he said. OK, said Celia. Hope you have a smooth journey. Are you on WhatsApp? He asked the next day. No, said Celia. I don't use WhatsApp. And then on Saturday morning, every moment is a new start, a time to make a fresh decision. Take your time to feel the pain and strain of the day, then rest your head and close your eyes. Sleep away the negative and start the good morning with fresh eyes. Have a good morning so that you can start a great life. Why do you think I need to make a fresh decision? Asked Celia. And why do you think I'll have pain and strain? What do you think I'm going to be doing? How are you doing today, my friend? He said. I was fine, she said, till you started warning me about pain and strain and needing to start a life. Has something happened? She asked. Are you OK? Well, he said, I got a sad call this morning. I just lost a cousin. And that was so completely random that I actually believed it. Oh dear, she said. I'm sorry to hear that. Will you go home to be with your family? No, he said. Like I told you, I'm travelling to Port Harcourt this morning. My family members will take care until I return. And if you're thinking there's something missing from this scam, the presence of Google, well, Google is about to make an appearance. And contrary to popular belief, Google doesn't make everything better. OK, said Celia. Yes, I know you're travelling today. Hope you have a safe journey. Are you still on the rig, or are you at the airport waiting for your flight? I'm still on the rig, preparing to leave, he said. I'm waiting for the arrival of helicopter. I've never been on a helicopter, asked Celia. What's it like? Google sensed an opportunity and leapt into action. An aircraft, it informed Celia, that is borne along by one or more sets of long rotating blades, which allow it to hover, move in any direction, including reverse, or land. and typically having a smaller set of blades on its tail that stabilise the aircraft. Thanks, Google, very helpful. I know what a helicopter is, Dimbo, said Celia. I asked what it's like to fly in one, in your own words, not a copy and paste answer. So Google continued. With the world at your feet, you're treated to a whole new experience where you can see everything with a 360-degree view. Our man read what Celia had said. Pardon? He said. She gave him the 2 links to the articles from which he'd copied and pasted those answers. Now, she said, would you like to tell me in your own words what it's like to fly in a helicopter? You know, write it yourself. I'm not a student in your school seeking for admission, he said, so could you please stop asking me numerous questions? You're supposed to be consoling me at this point in time. Instead, you keep asking questions. That's not really nice at all. I'm pissed off at this point in time. Goodbye. Celia sent him a thumbs up. Said, I asked you one question, idiot. Goodbye. And lying and copying isn't, quote, really nice at all. Our man swore at Celia and then blocked her. And that was the end of Prince Mathias. I hope you enjoyed the escapades of this geographically challenged wannabe scammer. If you did, please like it, please share it, please comment down below, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again in another video.